Hi, everybody. It's Kim Hughes, and today I want to talk to you about your newsletter. So, if you are not sending out a newsletter to your entire database, this is going to be a podcast where it's going to help you decide what you need to send and how to send it, and what programs you might want to send it from. Welcome to the Unstoppable Real Estate Agents Podcast. I'm your host and real estate productivity expert, Kim Hughes. Join me as we focus on real strategies and implement real solutions designed for you to achieve major success in your business and life while getting you organized. So in what we see today is there's a lot of options. And I'm not going to say one is better than the other, but the one thing that I do want you to make note of is that look at the email program, marketing programs that have a better relationship with the search engines. Now, I know that sounds a little crazy, but what we're looking for in that newsletter is your open rate, your click throughs, your analytics. What links are they clicking on? So when you're putting together this newsletter, you want to make sure that whatever program you're using, whether it's MailChimp, Aweber, Constant Contact, whatever you're using, um, just make sure that not only can it deliver a stellar design in the newsletter, but also what information do they provide you on the back end of the analytics of each newsletter that you send out. So, for example, with me, I use Aweber. I have been with them for years. When I send out an email, it will show me who opened that email. It will show me how many times they clicked on a link in that email. It will show me how long they spent on that link, whether it's 2 seconds, 10 seconds, etc. Um, it's very interesting because when you do this and you see that they're clicking on, say, an article that you have written that's on your blog, then you're noticing maybe 10 people clicked on that link to go to your website to read a specific blog. Let's just say that. And that blog could be, how to buy a home in today's market. So that's telling you that those 10 people were interested in learning more about buying real estate in today's market, right? So then what you could do from there is create an email sequence. And on just that, and that could look something like, hey, Joe, I noticed that you read my article regarding how to buy a home in today's market. And I'm curious, what is it that you're looking for? What information? Is there anything I can help you with? Would you like for me to put you on an email alert system? And that way you receive listings based on the criteria that you are looking for. So these are things that you could take to another level with your email marketing newsletter. So keep that in mind when you are looking at a program that is going to be sending out your newsletter. So they all have different analytics, but it's what does that analytics provide you? So that's where I want you to kind of really pay close attention to it because there's a lot of things that you can do if that information is provided to you. So, for example, like I said, if you open up an email from me, and I have a large database. So I have a big open rate. I have probably one of the best open rates that I've ever had because not only do I keep adding to my database, but I'm giving that person that's reading my email a reason to click through to go to my website, go to my social media, whatever it is that I'm offering them. So, for example, if you are getting my e-blast when I launch a new podcast, you'll find that there's several links in that podcast, and that kind of helps you decide what's important to you, what's interesting to you, what do you want to know more about. But then when you click on that link, I can go to my Aweber account and look at how many people clicked on specific links, who is that person, how long did they sit on it, How many times did they open it? So that tells me that they have an interest in that particular topic, etc. So then I can create an email sequence that goes out to them based on that information. Or I can pick up the phone if I have their phone number and call them and say, hey, Joe, I saw that you read my blog on how to buy a home in today's market and just wanted to ask you, what prompted you to read it? Is there something I can give you? Did that answer your questions? Can you tell me a little bit more about what you have going on? And that opens up a conversation. That's engagement now with your database. Then if somebody clicks on, let's say you have a weekend event, and let's say it's a wine tasting event, and you see that 20 people clicked on that link, and now you know, okay, these people clicked on that link because they were interested in that wine tasting that's going to happen on Saturday night at 7 o'clock at, the winery. So that could be something you make a note of, is that could be a great client event. The more people that clicked on that showed interest in that event, then you can maybe create an event that's similar to that, or invite them to these events. Instead of you doing all the work, just say, hey, let's all meet at the winery and on Saturday night for a wine tasting. Those are the people that you can engage with, build relationships with, because you can see that there's a common interest. Okay. If they are clicking on one of your listings, then you can immediately text them or call them and just say, hey, I saw that you clicked on this listing, 123 Sioux Street. Was wondering if there's any other questions that you might have. Is there anything I can give you? If you're looking to buy or looking to sell, whatever that reason is, ask them, can we have a conversation? I always look at it that probably if it's somebody that you're not really, engaged with, and it's maybe a lead and they're clicking on things, you might send them an email privately. You might put them on another email sequence based on what they clicked on. You might even send them a text message. I don't know that I would pick up the phone and call them, but I would definitely send them a text. Then what you do is, if that person is somebody and you feel comfortable, then you can call them and say, hey, Sue, I saw that you clicked on the link for my listing at 123 Sioux Street. Is there anything I can help you with? Okay. So these analytics on the back end of these newsletters give you a ton of information. And you really need to sit down and review that information and see how it's delivered to you, so that you can take it to another level and build stronger, deeper relationships with those that are in your database. I can pretty much guarantee you that if you are clicking on something, and you might even see a pattern. So what happens here with me, which happens with everybody else, is if you're given the email address or the name of the person that clicked on that link, and you see it consistently, they click on the same link every time you send them an email, they have an interest. And that's where you can look at that and say, okay, this is the third time they've clicked on that link in the last 3 emails that I've sent, and they've clicked on it multiple times. And so therefore there must need to be a conversation. And you may call them, you may text them, and they say, no, I'm good. Okay. Well, I just saw that you clicked on it. Just want to make sure that if there was anything else you needed, just make sure you know that I am always happy to answer any questions. So there you are, building on top of that relationship that for however they got into your database. Now you're taking it to another level. And then if the next week or the next month that you send out your newsletter and you see that they're still clicking on the same link, you need to make a mental note of that. And that way, you may not want to call them that day, but maybe go a couple of days and then just reach out to them and say, hey, any questions, anything? I would love your feedback on my newsletter. Is there anything that you would like for me to put in my newsletter that could be helpful to you? So there you are asking for feedback based on what you're sending out. And who else is best to give you that criteria is your database. So when you are watching this pattern of the same people reading the newsletter, The same people, the people that are clicking on various links, whether it's your buyer page, your seller page from your newsletter, maybe it's your social media, then you want to look at it and go, okay, maybe I need to follow these people. So you go over into your social media, Instagram, LinkedIn, Facebook, Pinterest, whatever it is that you're seeing that they're clicking on, and make sure you follow them as well. And then you tell them, say, hey, Sue, I just wanted to let you know that, I think it's great that we're connecting here on Facebook. You don't have to say anything more than that. Just say, hey, it's great to connect with you. And then make sure you go to that next level and you watch what they post. So if they're posting pictures of flowers in their garden, you make a comment. Beautiful roses, beautiful whatever. Depending on what's going on in their life. Maybe something's going on. Maybe they have kids graduating. Kids are having a baby. Maybe they're fixing to take a trip. Maybe they just celebrated their wedding anniversary. So now you can watch what they're doing on social media and engage with them there. Now, this little newsletter that you're sending out is going to give you so much information. So then, what I would always recommend to an agent is if it's a monumental event, say it's a wedding anniversary, it's their birthday, and you don't have that in your database, then there you go. You get that information, you go put it in your database or your CRM, and then that way you know to send them a birthday card come next year through the mail. Don't send them an email or a text message. You send them a birthday card in the mail, because nobody's doing that anymore. So now you're going to stand out a little bit more. But you can also do it on social media, send them an email, a text, and all of that. But make sure you send them a birthday card in the mail. If you see it's their wedding anniversary, make a note of it in your CRM so that you can send them a wedding anniversary card the next year. So if you're doing it the way that I'm explaining it, that newsletter is going to give you tons of information of what your database is looking at. And then when you go to the next level, you're engaging. And then you go to that third next level, you're really getting into um, you know, um, thinking about you more. And then you're learning more about them on how you can engage with them that's relevant. So you're not just throwing stuff at them. You're really paying attention. So, do you want to do this for every person that you have on your newsletter? No. You want to look at the ones that are showing interest. The things that I always say is when you're looking at your analytics, make sure you know who these people are that's clicking on there. If you don't know who these people are that are clicking in these links and everything that you're sending out, then you need to go find them, call them, text them, get to know them. Okay? That's a free opportunity right there to build a lead generation system based on the analytics of a newsletter. So if you don't have a newsletter, now is the time to do that. So let me kind of give you an idea of what you can put in that newsletter for those that don't have one. And if you do have one, maybe you can learn from this and put something in there that you haven't already. So when you're sending out a newsletter, of course, you're going to have it around your brand. You're going to have your colors. You're going to do all of that. Make it nice and pretty. Make it, appealing so that when I receive your newsletter, I'm going to be impressed by the way you put it together. Very nice. Very, very streamlined. Make sure it reflects your personality. So the things that I'm going to tell you to look at is creating an article, putting it on your blog, and then give it a little intro to it on your newsletter, and then link it to your website. Now, you know why you do that is SEO, but then you don't want to put the entire article in the newsletter, because then people are going to get bored with it and move on. So give it a title, give it a little bit of a hook to get them to click on the link to go to the website to read it, and then there you go. So you might want to fluctuate your articles, or not fluctuate, but rotate your articles. So buyer article 1 month, seller article 1 month. You may even say, you know what, I want to do a buyer and a seller every newsletter. And that's even better because you can put those on your blog and people are clicking and going to your blog. Weekend events. You want to put client testimonials. You might want to put, like, if you live in um, a remote, not remote, but a resort type area, like we have clients that, have a lot of skiing, a lot of hiking, a lot of things to do in their community. So you might want to make a list of that. You don't want it to get it junky, okay? So make sure you keep it very clean, very, very appealing. Give them information that they need. Don't just start throwing stuff in there. You might also put your market stats. Um, I'm going to tell you to always put your market stats on your website and put the chart on your newsletter and then link it to your website so they can learn more about the market stats. And that way, over there, you might have done a little video talking about the market stats. So that way, that entices them to go over there. You can put a video in your newsletter about anything. You could talk about, there's a weekend event coming up, ELO is playing in concert, the American Airlines. Hope to see you there. We're going to a festival that has a wine tasting. See you there. We're taking our kids, the grandkids. We're going over here to the skating rink. Hope to see you there. Things that you are doing that you know that your audience in your community would like to do. If you have an open house coming up, put that in there. Put your listings on there. Like I said, testimonials. If you have a buyer that is looking for a piece of property and you cannot find that property, you might even put that in your newsletter. Hey, I have a buyer. They're looking over in this part of the town. This is their criteria. If you or know somebody that is thinking of selling and they can meet these requirements, I have you a buyer. Done. Done. So then when you send out that newsletter, then you start looking at your analytics. I look at my analytics immediately. Once I send it out, I usually wait 10 minutes and then I go look at my analytics to see what my open rate is. So let's talk about that for just a minute. Now, your open rate should be, 30 to 40% is a stellar open rate, right? A lot of people think that's a low number. So if you have 10,000 people that you're sending out an email to and your open rate is only 30%, that's good. Okay. So keep that in mind. Now, if your numbers are 5%, 10%, then that's telling you, look at what you're sending. How can you tweak it and make it better and make it more interesting to the person that's opening it up on their end? So that's really important. And if your goal is to get that open rate up as high as you can get it, but it will not happen overnight. So just remember, every month as you work on that newsletter, that goal is to get the open rate and to get click-throughs. But the open rate is going to be really important because when they open it, you know that they're opening up that email to read something. So if you see me opening it at Kim Hughes, and then you see that I clicked on, an article, then you know that Kim opened it and then she clicked on this link to go read this article. Then that gives you an opportunity to come to me and say, hey, I saw you read that. What can I answer for you? So there's more to a newsletter than just making it pretty and sending it out. So make sure that your email program provides you with all this information. And I will put in the show notes a couple of them that we recommend. Like I said, it depends on how much you pay for the program, what package you have, and what do they provide. Of course, if you are offered plans within that e-marketing program, you might want to make sure that when you look at the plan and the price, what all comes with it, especially when it comes to your analytics, your reporting, and everything. And you really want to start looking at that and making sure that you can tweak your newsletter to do better next month, and then tweak it next month and make it do better. So it's, again, not going to happen overnight, but if you do this and you're consistent and you really put effort into that newsletter, you could get to 30 to 50% in probably 3 to 6 months. And I'm not going to guarantee that because I don't know what your newsletter looks like or what information is in it. But if you kind of take note of what I've just told you to put in it, I think you'll find that it will start helping you generate better relationships, deeper relationships, because now you can see what they're looking at and engage with them based on that. If you have any questions about your newsletter, if you would like for us to look at it, let us know. We're happy to give you any tips that we possibly can. And you go out and have a great day, and we'll talk to you next time. Thank you so much for tuning in. And if you know someone, and I bet you do, who would appreciate this podcast, please share it with them. As a reminder, this podcast can be delivered directly to your favorite device by using the subscribe links you can find in the show notes below or over at unstoppablerealestateagents.com. Remember, it takes as much energy to wish as it does to plan. Have a great day.